some technical glitches. We started slightly later than we anticipated. But for this evening, we would have the following co-moderators to help to drive this conversation. Have Nana Kazaure, Weyemi Lube, myself, FS Yusuf, and Ndikato. These are people well picked for this assignment this evening. Without further ado, because we are running behind schedule, we will have the privilege to bring in His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi, to quickly address us. After his address to the global support groups, we will then take questions. Ground rules. In taking questions, we will take questions from the people in this Zoom. As you are aware, we also have thousands of Nigerians watching us now globally. This meeting is being streamed online. Therefore, we would take questions because it is an interactive session. We would take questions from those of you watching online. We would take questions from those in this Zoom meeting. If you permit me, let me quickly, in this case, bring in His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi, to first address us. Then we would take your questions. He would have the opportunity to then answer your questions. We will put out further more rules when we get to the point of taking questions. At this moment, you all join me to welcome His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of Labour Party Nigeria. His Excellency, over to you. And once more, apologies for that slight delay. You may now unmute yourself, sir. His Excellency, you may now unmute yourself. Admin, can you ensure that His Excellency is able to unmute himself, please? Okay, while we are doing that, let me see if also if Obaze is here. Okay, please, you may take a moment or two and say one or two things, His Excellency Henry Obaze as well, and quickly, if you may, before we bring in His Excellency Peter Obi to speak to us.
Thank you, Mazi. Good evening, all. Apologies for the late start, and then also apologies for these glitches. I think this is His Excellency's prerogative. He's always been open to conversation. There had been quite a number of demands for him to interact with the supporters, and we thought this would be an appropriate moment in the campaign period for him to respond to some of the questions and also to reassure the supporters globally and those in Nigeria, and especially those in the diaspora, that he values their support. He does not take it for granted. But I'm not going to speak. I think it's best to hear from His Excellency, but just to reassure everybody that once we get through this temporary glitch, he would speak to the teeming population that belong to the family of the Obidients. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we have probably a network issue here. You know, if you don't mind, let's quickly try and bring him back. Hold on. One small, it appears that there were some, like as I thought, there were some glitches, and but the good news is that His Excellency is now back with us. I think we may have to reiterate again the, if we don't mind, His Excellency Obaze, if you may wish once more to reintroduce and reaffirm the reason why we've all gathered here before His Excellency takes over and addresses us, please. Thank you very much. No, pardon for that.
Thank you, Mazi. Once again, good evening, everyone, those in Nigeria and those in the diaspora. Like I said earlier, Mr. Peter Obi, who's the presidential candidate for Labour, places a high value on the support he gets from the support groups, especially those in Nigeria and those in diaspora. And he's always been open to speak to them. There's been a lot of demand for him to interact with these support groups, and there have been quite a few developments recently that compelled the decision to hold this meeting this evening, so that he could speak to the people, listen to them, and answer any questions that they might have. And that's just a simple family conversation, a friendly conversation between the family of the Obidients. So again, despite the glitches, we welcome everybody, and I'm very eager to also hear His Excellency speak. Thank you.
Thank you once more for that clarification, and that is very well noted. Now, His Excellency, if you may now, you may wish now to unmute. Okay. So yes, okay. You may now turn on your video. You are, obviously the floor is yours, sir. Nice having you around us.
He kept saying the video is stopped by the. I'm trying to. He kept saying the video is stopped by the host. Can you? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, but the video is not working.
You've been made a co-host, sir.
Because the host has stopped it.
You've been made a co-host, sir. You can now go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm trying to turn off the video, but it keeps.
Okay, sir. You can try once more now. Okay. We're good. Thank you very much.
It's still not.
We can see
you can hear me.
We can see you now, sir. We can see you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, because it's not on for me. If you can see me, that's fine. Well, let me start by most sincerely thanking all of you Let me start by thanking all of you for your sacrifice, and the enormous efforts you have made in mobilizing your Obidients across the globe, both local and in diaspora. I'm humbled by your efforts, by your sacrifice, your commitment, beyond your time, your money, all other resources have been deployed so far in this global campaign. You remain steadfast. And this is invaluable and very appreciative. And interact. And at the end, we agree on how we can meet so often. All I assure you is that it is not about me. It is about our building a better society for ourselves. I've always said, right from day one, it is about the future of the society. We want for ourselves, so it's about you, it's about the future of our children, it's about the future of those unborn, it's about the future of Nigeria that we're all going to sacrifice for. So I want to listen, I want to learn, I want to answer questions. And in the end, if I have any contribution, any speech I can make. So I thank you, and I assure you that I'm here for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, His Excellency, for that brief and straight to the point opening remarks. Now, the future, they say, belongs to the young. And on that note, we will begin to take first from the co-moderators who are with us here. And let's call upon Wayemi. Now, there are so many concerns that, the younger ones have raised. And this is more or less a family meeting, a family affair, in as much as we also are aware that this is being streamed online for obvious reasons. So, Wayemi, you represent more or less the new generations, those that lend their voices, whether you want it or not, dragging people on the Twitter streets and the Twitter spaces. So may you take a couple of minutes to obviously outline and make your own contribution to this evening conversation. Wayemi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Can you, are you in
it? So that the coalition for Peter Obi know very well in terms of communications with the support groups. why can't we have a directorate of support group under the PCC so that the coalition for Peter Obi will supervise all the support groups so that we have synergy within the Obedient movement? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jamilda. Your question is very clear and it borders on the PCC communication and the CPO. And I believe His Excellency would eventually get us to have answers to that. So, Wayemi, if you don't mind, take another person, please.
I have 3 questions, but I'll put all 3 of them out within the time you've given me. So, one question I have is, if many students registered for their PVCs while the ASU strike was still on, and they were probably at home, now if the schools resume and they have to relocate, how does this affect their chances of voting? Would it be possible to negotiate with the heads of these schools to allow them go back, say, 1 week to the election, close temporarily to allow them exercise their rights to vote, so that we don't lose the votes from those who registered during the ASU strike? Also, are we looking into why we have very high numbers of invalid votes in the South? It's quite alarming. If you look at the literacy rates in the North and the South, it doesn't correspond to what we have with the rates of invalid votes that has been announced by INEC. Should we ask, how, for some explanation of sorts? Then finally, this one concerns me and a number of us and Nigerians in diaspora that are very interested in the Obedient movement, which is, how can we come back and contribute? Many of us are, studying or working. I'm a scientist. Many of us here, we see many Nigerians, many Africans were developing technologies, in Europe and in the US and so on. We would like to bring this technology home. So what is our president's plan for helping integrate us into the new Nigeria so that we can contribute and accelerate this development? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for those 2 questions. Wayemi, do you have any other person?
Yes, I do. All right, I'm going to take Isisile Uku. Please, if you're there, feel free to ask your question. Thank you.
Can you unmute, please? What's the name again?
The name is Isisile Uku Teke. Okay, I don't think this person is here, so let's just move on. All right.
Take the next person, please.
All right. I'm going to take Soji next. Soji, please unmute your mic. Okay, I don't think Soji is here as well. Guys, I'm so sorry if we don't spend time. We are on a limited time and we're trying to take as much people as possible. So I'm just going to go with Udo Gadio next. Please, if you're there, Udo Gadi, please unmute your mic if you're there.
Udo Gadio Koli, go ahead.
Thank you very much for this rare privilege given to me to say something here. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, all protocols duly observed. I know there's a whole lot of people that want to say something, so I'll make it very, very brief. Now, my point is about the UK coalition for Peter Obi. I don't know if the Labour Party is very much aware that we have a coalition body, which is a superior body as far as the support groups in the UK is concerned. It is called the UK Coalition for Peter Obi, led by Mr. Prince. Is a body that is comprised of 4 directors at the moment. Director of Administration, Director of Operations, Finance, and Media. The relationship with the coalition UK support, because I know there is also a coalition in Nigeria. We have the Peter Obi Support Network. We have the Coalition for Peter Obi. These are all, umbrella bodies that, work directly with the level.
We have to make this go round, spread, with bearing in mind the spread that we have. Now, we want someone from Austria. Can we have you, POSN Austria, please? 1 minute, please. Make it snappy.
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity, His Excellency. May God be with you. My name is Uzoma Ahamefule. My own is not a question, it's a kind of a concern. The way I have seen His Excellency when he went to those that had a problem with the when he went to, I think that was in Kogi State and somewhere in Bayelsa State. The way he was really exposed, I was very, very scared. I was afraid. So please, His Excellency, this is not a question. Please, we are really concerned that we know you're a free man, but we shouldn't forget, personally, I cannot forget the slap the French president got while greeting people. Nigeria now with the, the alarm we got about security. Please, His Excellency, please, we are watching. Please be very, very careful, please. Another thing I want to say is the concern raised about trying to rig the election, which was tagged on Moma Magic in Imo State. Please, His Excellency, all these plans, people know that Peter Obi is very strong. Peter Obi is the man to beat. This rigging, we should make sure that something is done and done properly.
Thank you very much, Ahamefuna. That's the much we can take. Pardon me that I must interject at this point.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So can we take, again, looking at balancing the whole people that we have here. Wait a minute. If you can read out at least 2 questions from those that have typed their question in the comment section while I call on the next person to speak, then you then have the floor for the to get the question read out.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So okay. I'm going to read through 2 questions. And this is the first question. The first question is, how does Labour Party and our principal intend to boost materials and financially campaign in grassroots levels? What are Labour Party's plans for all support groups in terms of aligning the party and the support groups? We need more support in my local governments, Ibe Sekpo Asutan. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce this name, but we need more support in Ibe Sekpo Asutan. There are many volunteers to mobilize and campaign door to door, but our challenge is sponsors. We really need help. We are handicapped. That's the first question. And the second question is, okay. The second, well, this is more of like an opinion, but let me just read it out. It says, give me a minute, please. It says, there's no synergy at all in the presidential campaign, whether from Peter Obi, whether local or in diaspora. So that's the concern. This person is concerned about synergy. So I'm just going to leave it at that, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. Then we move online and we are taking this question from Freemaze. He says, question, Are there plans to lift the crypto restrictions in Nigeria? Are there plans to ease the seaport in Lagos by opening up, upgrading, and other seaports in other parts of the country? Now, the next question is Akin Tomide David Bamidele. What are the targets required from 770 local government coordinators in the forthcoming elections, considering previous election data? We may take one more from online, then we take Wayemi White. You can, get two more from the in-house. Then we can now allow our principal to address them then before we take further more questions. So the last question that I'm going to take from online is, His Excellency, good evening, sir. I congratulate you for your courage so far. My question is, how do you take the Obidients message to the interior villages that lacks internet access to television stations? Joseph Amadi Wayemi, over to you.
Okay, so the question I have here is, well, this person is talking about coalition body in Nigeria, there is nothing to write home about. Well, basically, this person is saying, what's happening with the CPO? Why is there no synergy with the CPO? They need help with the support groups. So that's all I have from this side.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's the much we can take in this first round of questions. Then we would then have to invite back His Excellency to address these questions and concerns. Then we will take the next round of questions and comments. His Excellency, over to you, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Okay, I hope there's somebody who is also helping to take down his questions, because at times I'm not hearing some of them very well, but I would like if there's somebody who also is helping to remind me the questions.
Okay, I can recap.
I look at the ones I can remember.
If you want, I can recap. The questions are, we started with how do you go, how do we reach out to student community, bearing in mind that...
Students, first reach out to students community now that schools are open. Well, there's, it is not everything that I'm going to tell you our strategy here, as we are today in a very open meeting. However, I will tell you that we're going to do everything possible to reach out. When we talk about this movement, we're talking about the youth. We can't talk about the youth without talking about the students. I've said before, and I'll read them. My purpose of doing this or getting involved is for you. It's not about me. It's about the youth. It's about the students, about the children on board. And I assure everybody, you never regret being part of this moment. You never regret helping to take back Nigeria. So it's the same message that all of you are going to take to the students. I'm going to take it to them as well and say to them, well, listen, this country has been on for several years. Look at where we are today. We have become the poverty capital of the world, out of school children capital of the world, and on and on. So it is the same message that will reach them and say that if you work hard and want a good government, you have a good future. You can no longer stay with people who have made promises in the past that they were not able to fulfill, and they are promising you more today. I wonder what they are going to do to fulfill it. So we are going to go to the students. That's other questions that are here, which again, somebody talked about since the formulation of PCC, there have been less communication and mobilization. Some of these questions are not what I will answer. They're what I will have to take back as a complaint. And I want you, the organizers and those who are co-hosting, to record this, because some of them I want to take back to the campaign body and the party and be able to try to improve on. As you know, because of your sacrifice and hard work, we've been able, within the past 4 months, to achieve what have taken people years to achieve. And the only way we can go on is that we stay on till the end. We'll try to improve on the communication and see what we can do. We will look at discuss the issue of invalid votes. Well, the only thing we can do is to discuss with the INEC. We cannot do anything to that, but just to discuss with them and see how it can be, what is happening, what they are doing, why they have that level of invalid votes. There's a question about collation of all UK support groups into this body, Coalition for Peter Obi group, something like that. Again, there are not things I can answer straight away. It is something we need to look into and ask questions. If I tell you that I can give the such directive here, or say go this way or go this way, it will be almost difficult. But I've taken a note of it, and I'll ask the question. As we tend to make this meeting regular, I'll be able to be giving an update in the future. How does Labour Party provide financial support and materials for campaign? We're working on all this. And Labour Chairman has told you and mentioned, we're a party that is just starting and struggling and supporting ourselves. We don't have one councillor. We don't have a local government chairman. Neither do we have a governor or a president. We're not members of any pastel. None of us serves in board or anywhere or in anything. We're just ordinary folks that want to build a better country, to make it better for everybody. And I've always said that sacrifice will not be in vain. Your sacrifice is not what you regret. My commitment is total, because if you put in more money than anybody, because without you, there won't be a Obidient movement today. And what is important that we all know that we are doing this for ourselves. We're not doing it for Peter Obi. I'm not even doing it for myself. I'm doing it for you. And you will never regret it. And I want you to put it on table and say, I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it because we need to build a better country and a better place. So we're struggling with finances, but we believe this will get better. And we assure you that we're going to come up with some materials and support that will enable you to continue campaigning in the villages. Issue of synergy between support group, the party, and the campaign office. Again, there are things we need to take back and look at them. By next meeting, I can make comments on it. On issue of banning cryptocurrency and everything, if we can do such promise until we're in government. Because people ban it. We don't know reason why they ban it. We don't have access, or if any of you have, you can tell me. If I look at it and say, okay, yes, this is what we are going to do. But until we get to government, we won't talk about. All I can assure you that we will stay within the law. We will serve the rule of law. We will create adequate and fair regulatory environment that will allow businesses and people's endeavor to thrive and work. How do we take Obidients message to the interior? Well, it's you, it's me. With you, I believe that we'll be able to achieve that. And that's, for me, the given position. I don't think there's any pressure I'm missing. If there is, please remind me.
I think the questions, obviously, if you've taken the one that talked about synergy, grassroots support, Labour Party work, you know, I think one that is left out here is the Labour Party working with the coalition of various support groups, especially with the diaspora as well.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That some of these things, I'll take it back. You help me to collect the questions, and I go to Labour Party and say, this is the complaint I'm getting, that there needs to be improvement. There is for us to work with people in the diaspora and work with them very well. Now reminds me, somebody mentioned about voting. I've said it when I was going, that this is the last time Nigerians in the diaspora will not vote. If those in Kenya, if those in Ghana, if those everywhere in the world are doing it, we must do it.
That is a very huge commitment, that if every other person is doing it, we must do it. So, Wayemi, if you're there, I think...
No, it's the last time. If I'm there,
Yes,
it's very, if I succeed, it's very simple, very straightforward.
Okay, we would use the opportunity to also bring in the another co-host, Nana Kazaure. Nana Kazaure is one of the spokesperson of the Peter Obi presidential campaign, or rather Obidients presidential campaign. So Nana Kazaure, if you're there, if you've gotten to your destination, you may introduce yourself, and also if you have any interjection to make, you have the virtual lectern for 2 minutes to do that. Nana, are you there? Okay, I think Nana is still on transit. In that case, Wayemi, now can we take the next round of questions? Can you start with, call 2-3 people, then we'll take online before we get him to answer the questions.
All right, I'm going to take 3 people with their hands raised. So I'm going to take Dr. Anongu Moses. Please, if you're there, unmute your mic. Thank you.
Anongu Moses, kindly unmute, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I first and foremost appreciate our principal, Mr. Peter Obi, for taking time to be with us here. I'm so happy, and I will raise some of these basic concerns which have been disturbing me initially. The first one is, sir, the need to engage leaders of various support groups in rural areas is very, very important. This is because in terms of your campaigning around the world, around the states in Nigeria, most of the leaders of these support groups if they are able to be converged to the venue and they go back to the rural supporters, it is as good as taking you to the rural areas, because the ward coordinators, the local government coordinators that will turn up in this event will take a direct message to the rural people, and that will have a positive effect during and after the campaign. That's my concern number one, because in a situation whereby the population in this campaign venue is only restricted to township people, it won't help us. But if the population spread across the rural people, someone made mention of mobilization. I think during campaign, the rural people are supposed to be mobilized more than the people who are living in townships. So please, if you take note of this and the Presidential Campaign Council is able to adopt it.
Thank you very much, Anongo Moses. Thank you.
Yes.
Wayemi, let me borrow 1 minute, one minute of your time and invite the coordinator coalition for Peter Obi, that is in the person of Pamsin Daggett, that is the CPO. Pamsin, you have 2 minutes to make your presentation. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and Your Excellency, it's really a big pleasure for the support group to have this session with you. Having said that, I only need to wonder a concern. Support group choose on their own to create access and network across the country on their own, fund it and put up their programs towards what we see today to be the Obidient movement. On their own, they equally felt that in order to take advantage of each other, they should come together and form a coalition. And that coalition, the executive will package activities that will involve the entire support group participation, so that the activities will be huge and will be impactful. Having done all that, and then came the Labour Party. At the youth angle, they are independently start collating support group to run another independent activities. At the organizing secretary's office, at the Labour office, the same story. Now, with the inauguration of the PCC, we are still having the same kind of situation. How is it difficult, Your Excellency, sir, to take advantage of the coalition that the support group on their own came together to package themselves in order to move as one? Number two, the support group, the 150 or thereabout support group under the coalition, we've evaluated the individual mission statement of each of these support groups, and we came up with 8 critical projects, and all with the conceptual document of implementation with all the budget line. Who do we sit with to look at these things so that we can together take a look at it and then come up with a strategy of going forward, because time is of the essence, and I think we need to really get ourselves in the field. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Pamsin, for that intervention. Again, he who wears the shoes knows where it pinches. Now, Wayemi, over to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to take Mr. Fortune Onyeka. Please, Fortune Onyeka, unmute your mic. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Fortune Onyeka. I'm the convener of Independent Campaign Group for Good Governance in Nigeria. Yeah, first of all, I want to make I want to thank Your Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi, for finding time to bring all the conveners of support groups together to interact with us. First of all, I want to make a suggestion. That's in terms of the coming campaign rally in Benue State. I have a very important suggestion. What I want to say is that the visit to Benue State, there should be a visit that His Excellency should take up a step to visit the Benue State IDP camp. You know, sorry, excuse me. To make it, this will make the campaign more meaningful. You know, it's the current administration of the APC that drove these people by the activities of what is going on in the government, drove these people out of their houses into the IDP camps. So it will also be a very good thing if if His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi lands Benue first and first visits the IDP, you know, and on visit there should be some relief materials and some even the campaign materials taken to them before we converge at the campaign rally. I think this will go a long way.
Can I intervene at this point?
Okay, sir.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'm with you, Your Excellency.
I've done so. You're not following me.
No, I'm following.
I've done so. I've visited the ID council.
I'm aware of that, Your Excellency, but I'm saying on the day of rally too, it should be done. It will have a different meaning from the one you have visited already. Like you are coming to campaign in Benue State.
Unless for take that today, but I've visited them.
I'm aware you have visited them, Your Excellency.
Sorry, Fortune, sorry. Again, thank you very much for your...
okay, I have one other...
no, sorry, we have other people. Sorry, thank you very much.
Just one.
I said no, we have other people. Respect that. Thank you very much. Okay. Can we take the next person, please?
Let him just do one.
Okay, thank you, Your Excellency. Okay, I also, when the issue of the students, bringing the students together arose, like we as a group, we have taken time, as the students resumed, we've taken time to build synergies in school, creating the support group coordinator outreach chapters in schools. So it's also an avenue I want to use to encourage all the support groups. We don't require His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi to go down to the institutions. We as support groups are supposed to do this on our own. Go to schools, establish our structures in the school and have coordinators and bring them together, you know, for the purpose of voting and winning this election. So I don't expect His Excellency to do that for us. It's our responsibility as a support group to do this. Because if we all put heads together, we'll achieve victory by 2023.
Thank you very much.
I will also be involved in my own way in doing the same thing. At the same time, all of us will be doing it.
Okay, thank you very much for that, intervention. I will take Nikki. Nikki, please, on this case, please, everyone, can we stick to time? There are over 200 people wanting to ask questions or make interventions. So let's take as much as possible that we can. And on doing that, please, maximum 1 minute. Nikki, go ahead. Nikki, on mute, go ahead. 1 minute, please.
Okay. Good evening, Your Excellency. I'll just go straight to the point, sir. I have sent an email, though, with the link that was shared, but I just have one or two things. One is that we appear to be lacking sort of a centralized channel of communication with the diaspora. We have got the diaspora desk. We do know there's a head of diasporas within the PCC, but there has not been any much communication, and someone has already mentioned it. And then the second thing is to do with the legality. There's been a lot of Labour Party activities in the diaspora. And, from what we are aware of, there are some issues to do with some boundaries within the law in terms of funding political parties. That hasn't been addressed. No one is addressing. And my fear is, we know you're going to win, sir, but we don't want to give the opposition the ammunition to sort of cancel or disqualify the election based on some of those legalities. And then there are
okay. Let me comment on issue of funding.
Okay, sir.
Funding of elections from Nigeria, foreign funding is restricted. And so far, nobody will say he has given me any fund for the election from overseas. My initial thought of overseas was to waken up our people in diaspora to understand the problem that is facing, and also get them to mobilize themselves in various ways which they can contribute to support various activities within Nigeria, because I'm talking to Nigerians. All my trips abroad is not about meeting foreigners, but mobilizing Nigerians to understand the need to care for their country. Mine is about Nigerians taking back their country. It's a country that have everything, and if we can mobilize those who are in diaspora, who understands more because of their exposure, and seeing what other countries can do, they can help us to bring about good governance here. The issue of funding, it is for them to be able to do whatever they are doing and be able to deal with it in any way it can help, especially to support the various activities, not really support giving me any fund or anything.
Thank you, His Excellency, for that explanation. And I think many people watching online, I can take, taking the pool of what is happening. There is the excitement online that you are sitting down with them and having this conversation from running any other person.
We'll fix them and make sure it is done very often.
Yes. So now, people, you've all had it. That is a promise, and we have to ensure that this promise, if I may act like Oliver Twist and say how often, very often, I guess.
When we close the meeting, we'll agree when we are going to meet next.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm excited already. So, Wayemi, over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Mazi. I'm going to take Dr. Zubairu. Please, Doctor, unmute your mic.
Pay attention, 1 minute, please. Go ahead.
Thank you. His Excellency, the next president 2023, by the grace of God, Peter Obi, under the platform of Labour Party. My name is Zubairu Suleiman from Gombe State in the northeastern Nigeria, and I am the zonal coordinator Northeast region for the PPGM. And I want to inform His Excellency and the audience that we have been doing so much to campaign for him through the PPGN, especially in my capacity as the zonal coordinator, with the contribution of our other coordinators, the national coordinator, Dr. Chinelo, and the global coordinator, and the state coordinators, especially for the 6 states of the northeastern region. However, our major challenge right now is that how to reach women and other people, especially in the grassroots, especially looking at the situation of the northeastern states of Nigeria, that most of the states, or all of the states, are under the APC as the ruling government. So, and also another thing is that the tribal differences between our principal, His Excellency Peter Obi, and most other people in the northeastern states who are different from him in terms of tribe, and sometimes also as a result of religion. reaching out to women in the households, which we believe is very key to succeeding an election, especially in the northeastern region. From our experience, women used to come out in mass and vote, and they used to mobilize not only their husbands, but also their children and their friends. So we want to...
Dr. Zubair.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm listening, sir. Your Excellency.
Dr. Zubair, the way I see it is very simple.
All right, sir. Okay,
if you listen to me when I spoke at the Ariwa conference in Kaduna, I asked the same question. Is to ask these women, before you speak to the young ones, are their lives improving over the years, or is it deteriorating? Are they better today than they were maybe 10 years ago? Are things improving? Yes, I've said that 2023 election should not be based on all the past method we've used that brought us to where we are today. It should not be based on ethnicity, because that has not helped us. It should not be based on religion. That has not helped us. It should not be based on my tone or any other condition. And I give you a very simple listen. Today, I'm not from the north. I've said it, I'm a Nigerian. I don't believe that I'm from this place or that place. I said people should not vote for me because of where I'm come from. But I go direct to give you conditions. Nigeria is 62 years old. In these 62 years, people supposedly from the north, very distinguished and respected Nigerians from the north, have either been military leader or president, serve in the capacity where they're in charge of the country. So you can actually say the north has been in leadership for 47 years. But if you go to Nigeria today and say the 10 poorest states, they're from the north. The north have today the highest number of poor people in Nigeria, even when, of course, Nigeria is poverty capital of the world. The highest number of out-of-school children in the north. The highest number of unemployed people in the north. The highest number of school kidnapping globally is in the north. I can go on and on. So it is not a problem of, it's not the problem of ethnicity. It's not where somebody is coming from. The same thing goes to religion. There's no place the Muslims buy cheaper bread than Christians, or the Christians buy bread cheaper than Muslims. There's no place where they have uninterrupted electricity for the Christians or for the Muslims. Everybody is suffering the same thing. We are not the only country who have diversity in ethnicity or in religion. For the countries that where their own is worse or more, far more than we have here. If we look at the issue of religion, for example, I tell people, The Central Mosque in London, the land is worth over £500 million. To the best of my knowledge, I've not valued it. I'm just doing an estimate considering the location in central London. But that was given by the Queen for free of charge. The Queen is not a Muslim. If you go to Dubai today, the land and the Catholic Church was built by Emir of Dubai. It's there in the wall. He gave them the land, built the church, strategically located in one of the good areas of Dubai. And he's not a Christian, he's a Muslim. So our problem has nothing to do with ethnicity. It has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with other conditions which you have used to elect or select our leaders in the past. And I said, people should not follow me because I'm from the East. People should not vote for me because I'm from the East, or because I'm an Igbo man, or because of anything, or vote for me because I'm a Christian. I'm contesting this election because I'm the most qualified. And I want people to come out and say what is there. Let us put everything we have on the table. We are looking for hiring the next managing director of the corporation called Nigeria. And the only way you hire a managing director to run your company is to look at his past. Where is he coming from? What is the educational background? Which schools have he passed through? In terms of all people contesting this election, whether it's for one day, I've passed far better schools than anybody. It is not about degrees you earn. It is about education, is about the exposure and where you've passed through. I passed through the best schools anybody can think in the world if it's in terms of education. I'm a businessman, a successful businessman who have worked hard and built my business. I'm a corporate person. I've served as director and chaired corporations. I've been a governor. One that when I finished in 2015, I became the best governor in terms of implementing MDG, which is the global measure to measure development, which is what China, India, Vietnam, everybody applied to put their people out of poverty. And above all, I'm the only one who left money. So if you say you want to fight corruption, let's go to where you served last and know how much money you left, whether there's anything you left. So that we don't know what is missing there. I left money, which I could have taken like every other person. I have no single land allocated to myself, my wife, or my children, or anybody. One person who is serving today, whose wife and children is not involved in anything he's doing, they face their little jobs, earning their little pennies, and live their normal life like every other person. Every other person have turned the whole thing into a family affair. But I've not done that. So I'm applying for this job, knowing fully well that I have the capacity to do the job. And the mayor tell them, the biggest, Peter Obi says every day, the biggest assets of Nigeria, physical assets, is the vast uncultivated land in Nigeria. If I'm given the opportunity to serve this country, the North will forever remain something that they will know that they have voted somebody they will forever remain grateful and proud of, because I'm going to change the North. Those vast land Nigeria have today, over 50% of its fertile arable land are cultivated. No other nation in the world can say it's not like that. Not one. So we need to cultivate it. We need to deal with it. I don't want to go into it.
With 9 confirm offer, you enjoy 9 times value on every recharge of 100 naira and above by dialing *1400#.
Records of the road we are trading today cannot lead us to anywhere. Then there's somebody coming to change, real change in Nigeria and make things work for everybody, put people out of poverty. That's what we're coming to do. And I am committed to it. The rest assured, whenever they tell you, if you want me to come to Gombe and tell them that, I will do so.
Thank you very much. That's concluding on that note with a challenge to the people of Gombe, that if they want him to come and say this in Gombe, that he is willing and ready to do that. Now, we go to, we've taken enough people that are on this stream. We're going to go to the comment section, if you may pick 2 or 3 questions from the comment section while I go to those watching online and take 2 questions from the online platform as well. So, Wayemi, I hand over to you.
All right.
Now, before we do, I think Nina Atalo wanted to have a word or two. Nina, you have 2 minutes, after which Wayemi will take over and read the questions out.
All right. Good evening, His Excellency. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, my sister.
Thank you, sir, for making yourself available for this meeting. I am extremely glad that my fellow Obidients and I have the opportunity to interact with you freely. I dare say that listening to you is always an insightful experience, and I am quite glad that we have already agreed that these meetings will happen more frequently. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So, Wayemi, over to you.
Okay. So the first question I have here is this, and this is from Isisele. He says, from Pomdan, it is expensive to acquire campaign materials in Nigeria. Some of us are trying to get these things from China, but the cost of logistics is prohibitive. Can the PCC consolidate everyone's efforts? Can the PCC consolidate everyone's efforts? That's where he stops. Then the second question I have is this. Are there plans by Labour Party to combat the issue of potential violence geared towards suppressing the votes and intimidating voters who are very much likely to vote for Peter Obi? So those are the 2 questions.
Well, let me tell you. Yes, I quickly answer this too. First is there's trying to procure campaign materials is very expensive. Can the PCC help? First, let me thank all of you. I said it at the beginning, the sacrifice you're doing is enormous. The PCC and all of us are doing the same sacrifice. This party, we're not talking about people who have, over the years, stolen our commonwealth and are now sharing it and are using it to intimidate us. The money they are sharing is why all of us are hungry. That's why we produce poverty. That's why that's why I have all sorts of things and all that. That's why we are flooding. Because these are the monies that would have used to be to dredge rivers. So what we're saying is everybody is making sacrifice. I'm doing mine. Yours is greater. Yours is like a widow's mite. So it's much appreciated. All I promise everybody that you will not regret being part of this movement. I'm happy you're tapping it and it is streamed. You will not regret being part of this movement. All we want to change our country and make it work for everyone. Make it work for you. We're going to do whatever we can, in every small way, to see what we can. We're trying to raise money. I didn't want to go to people initially and start saying, we need money, because I don't want people to see me as being in this race because I want to make money, I want to raise money. But now we're going to come up, we're going to set up one or few accounts. We've already chosen people who will be signatories to the account, who are connected with me, who have nothing to do with me and everything. We're doing campaigns in various states now, which is costing us a lot of money. So we assure you that we're going to do our best and everything. The second question is issue of combating violence. Well, we're not violent people. And I don't want us to be violent people. All we want is to vote and insist that our vote counts. You know, we will insist that our vote counts. And I assure you, this time around, no matter how violent they are, our vote will count. That is what is important to us. These are part of the things we want to stop. There's no violence in electing people everywhere in the world. Angola has just had an election. Other countries of Africa have an election. Angola had an election now where people outside voted. Kenya had an election. Yes, there might be one or two violence, but it's minimal. You know, they've just had an election where people who are nobody was voted in. Malawi, everywhere. It's happening everywhere in the world. Ours will not be different. All we want is opportunity to be a country. We have people who are governors, who have conscience, who have heart, who can say they've come to serve their people. That's all we're asking. So go out there and preach it. Tell them not to worry. We will be there. We're not going to fight. We're not going to quarrel. We're not going to throw money around because we haven't stolen any.
So thank you very much. May I use the opportunity now to bring back Nana Kazaure. Nana, if you're there, quickly turn your video and I can see that you're on now. Nana, are you there? Nana Kazaure, please make your intervention and quickly take 2 questions from the audience. Do you, oh, it appears probably you're having internet challenges, I don't know. Nana, are you there? Okay, so sadly, your connection is not playing along with us this evening. So, Wayemi, can you take one more last question before we go? Oh, okay, Nana is turned on. Nana, go on. Sorry about that, Nana. It appears the thing is not playing along this evening. You know, Wayemi, can you take one more question before we take those online? Thank you.
All right, no problem. So my next question is this. Can he create quick channels for support groups where they can access him easily or given quick attention? So that's the question that I have. And I have one more.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next question I have is, how does LP hold INEC responsible or have INEC address the issue of over 40% invalid PVC registration in the Southeast and South-South in order to prevent people from being disenfranchised? That's all the question that I have for now. Thank you.
Well, issue of holding INEC responsible is all of us. We, the people have said about us holding INEC, we will do whatever we can to ask questions and everything. But when we talk about labor, when we talk about political party, it's about all of us. We will do whatever is possible to hold them responsible. The other question you asked is, there was two questions.
Yes, the other question was, how can the support groups have quick access where attention
Let
is
me
given?
Let me assure you, like I said before, this meeting will be very often. We will agree when we finish. You know, if it means voting, we vote and say how often we want it. I'm a Democrat, and I believe in consensus. It's about leadership. What I'm trying to do is about you, it's not about me. So you have to. Everybody knows that I'm a consensus person. I'm a listener, which I believe everybody, and I'm a learner. So we can agree, we can say in this meeting, there are 800 of us, we can even vote and say, well, listen, this is what the people say. We're going to do it weekly, monthly, every 2 weeks, you know. That's what we're going to end with today.
Thank you very much. On that note, we will come back to those of, we will be rounding up very quickly. I understand that we lost some minutes when we started, but, we'll make it up, and you have to help us to help here. And I'm going to do this now quickly. 5 people, 1 minute each. Dennis I. Korige, please quickly unmute. 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thank you, moderator. Good evening, Your Excellency. Protocols duly observed. My name is Dennis I. Korige. I'm the convener and global coordinator. That's where strong for Peter Obi, Buffalo, New York. My question concerns, I think it's being raised by some people. I've seen the chat, and is the non-inclusion of the conveners on the presidential campaign list. It seems most of us were being overlooked. If we control over 2,000 people routing our campaigning,
my dear brother, let me tell you.
Yes.
Whenever people talk about campaign list, I've said it, and I'll say it again. In that entire list, I, Mr. Peter Obi, did not nominate one name. And for me, the work you're doing is greater for me and more important. Do not look at the list. You are there. You're involved. We know who you are. We know what you're doing. Let us go to work to build our country. If people in that list will help us to have a better country where everybody will be safe, so be it. If they won't, so be it. And I tell them the same thing. This is about building a new country. This is not about Peter Obi. It's about PCC. And don't think that if you're in that list, you have an appointment. It is not true. When we succeed this time, square peg, everybody must fit in. We must have credible, competent people with character in government, people who help us deliver the results. So we want to work. We will ensure that whoever works hard will one day wake up and say, I'm happy I was part of this government. Let me tell you, when the people say judiciary in Nigeria is corrupt, I said to you, they are not. Maybe tomorrow I'll have reason to say otherwise. But I can tell you, in my being a governor in Anambra State, I stayed in court for 3 years without giving any judge 1 naira, and I won. I went to Court of Appeal without knowing anybody, I won. One of the judges that made me to win in Court of Appeal, and I was sworn in as the governor, met me 2 years after. 2 years after I was already governor, and said to me, she tapped me and said, Governor Obi, how are you? And I said, oh, I'm okay. He said, I'm so and so person. I thank God that you did not disappoint. I would have felt bad because you were right and we gave you the right judgment. And I can tell you, so was all the people. I have people who helped me to be governor who said, yes, I didn't have a personal benefit, but my people benefited. The school in my community changed. This one changed, this one changed. So let us sacrifice for Nigeria. Let us not look at any list. The list is you and me trying to build a better Nigeria. The list is you and me trying to build a better society in which we and the children yet unborn will live in.
Yes, thank you, Excellency. I'm very satisfied with
thank you very much. And let's take another person. Peter Dogo, please. Peter Dogo, go ahead. 1 minute, please.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and Your Excellency. It's a privilege to be on this platform. I have just 2 issues to raise. The first one is we are a support group registered by the Labour Party. So we have been trying to get approval from CAC for us to have documents to open our corporate bank account. So, and they have always been denying the support groups, not just our own only. So how do we go about it so that through that we have a
I can only take it on with the legal advisors of the party.
Okay.
There's nothing you can do with all these things. These are some of the things we are trying to overcome. I can only take it on with them. I cannot do, that's all I can advise you. I will, somebody is writing all these questions down. I want them to be printed and I'll keep them and I'll ask questions.
Thank you very much. Be rest assured, these questions will be, let's go to another person.
I had 2 questions.
Please. So, no. One question.
Maybe we'll allow him to just let me answer because maybe just, please. Okay, Peter.
All right, thank you.
Very quickly.
Yeah. The second point is, second question is about the support groups registered under the leadership of the suspended national youth leader. So are the support groups still valid because they were registered through the LP website? And how is he?
Quite frankly, between me and you, whatever happened to suspended youth leader was action of the party. It has absolutely nothing to do with me or the campaign. The party leadership is separate from me. I obey them. I'm subject to them. They can even sack me. I've always told the party is supreme. I respect whatever they do. But if I tell you that I had a preview, I had a knowledge, they were going to suspend somebody, I didn't. If I had, I would have actually pleaded with them. For me, I will always preach, let's see whether somebody can change. The last thing I do is to lose. I've always believed that we're here to correct good, bad people. So until we exhaust reason. So, but I had it the way you had it in the news, and I can't do anything.
Thank you.
God have told me since what was the problem, but it's already happened, you know.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. Can we take Kunle Adeleji, please? Kunle, unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. All protocols observed. My name is Kunle Adedeji. I am with Diaspora Medics for Good Government. Thank you for this opportunity. This initial push by all the support groups to help get PVCs and all these other things, we were expecting that there would be some coordination from the PCC, the Labour Party, or the Big Tent. We haven't seen that. So I don't know if there's anyone we should be talking to, or we just do what we can on our own, knowing that it may hit or miss. That's my question. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, let me understand. What about coordination? Because like I said, I'm learning. You could also help me to.
Yes, sir. So, for example, we did PVC collections, and we used POSN data to decide on which states to go to and help with PVC registration. Now we're about to do collection. We want to do mobilization on ground. We don't know which state to go to. So we are the diaspora, so it's not like we're on ground. We're depending on people on the ground to tell us this is where help is needed. This is what needs to be done. And so we are waiting for that.
Okay.
So we thought the campaign
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I'll ask that question. I will ask that question. You know, when I get the report of all the questions that were asked.
Okay. Thank you very much. Kunle Adedeji, please.
I just asked the question. I'm Kunle Adedeji with DM4GG. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Ayokunle Adetula, please. Sorry.
All right. Good evening, everybody.
1 minute, please. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to thank His Excellency for giving us this time to have this discussion. I think what I was just going to ask is a variation of what has been asked before. So, from a personal perspective, grassroots work, we've been talking to people, and a lot of us have spent resources, and we are spent. We have spent resources, our personal resources, and we are spent. But we see that there is still much work to do. There are places to cover, places where we have started meetings twice every month, and we are doing this grassroots work. How would the Labour Party really come and support? We understand that funds are not coming in, but we are spent, and we can see that the work is still there. Some of us live from Lagos to our states in the southwest to do this work. We really need that assistance to be able to work. How does the party come in to assist us? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, first, so thank you, Ayo, for what you've been doing. Thank you for your sacrifice and everything. Labour Party is like, I'm the one you say, how do I come in and help? I assure you that we're doing everything possible to see how we can, even if it's just £1, see whatever we can do to support in any way we can. All that I'm trying to tell you is that we don't have the privileges of anybody. We don't have councillor, we don't have local government chairman, we don't have governors, we don't have this. But remember that all these people are people who don't want again, because they've done it for 20-something years, And in the past 20 years, we created mass poverty. So we are David. We're using that string to chase these Goliaths. And I assure you, we will, by His grace, achieve it. So we're doing whatever we can. But most importantly is that you've been a great person.
Okay, thank you very much, His Excellency. I want to invite the convener of Take Back Niger that has been embroiled in some controversy within the Twitter space in the last couple of days. So Jack has raised his hand to ask a question and make an intervention. Jack, over to you.
Thank you so much, Mazi. Good evening, His Excellency. Thank you for the opportunity to share this view. We really appreciate you. So, just like Mazi had alluded earlier, our account was blocked by Keystone Bank with no reasons given to us, and we only found out when we wanted to make withdrawals. And official letter was sent to the bank for official communication as to why the account was shut down. There was no, they have not up until now responded as to the reason, only for the bank to go to refund all the donations that came into the account to, the donors. We had actually released a statement about that a day before yesterday. Up until now, the bank has not even responded, not publicly, not privately. As a matter of fact, the only result said to threatening us as to why we had to go online. I would genuinely want you to intervene, His Excellency, because I know that you're a banker, and maybe there might be one or two persons that will come to our aid, because our activities are currently, we can't print materials. As a matter of fact, it was materials I wanted to pay for that I even had to find out that our account was blocked. And this is really,
Where is the account located?
The account is located at NMPC Towers in Abuja here, sir. Keystone Bank, to be precise. So
Keystone
that is for
Bank.
that.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
I'll ask that question. My brother Jack, there's so many things that happen in this country that doesn't happen anywhere in the world. That's why I keep saying about rule of law. Law and order. An environment where everybody will live a normal life. As a governor, I kept preaching this. Not everybody in the state will like me. Today, I said the same thing. So, for me, this is what I'm preaching. I must serve Nigerians faithfully, where those who are with me, those who are not with me, everybody will now become members of political parties in the sense that they'll say where they belong. In America, in every other part of the world, you're free to say, I'm a businessman. But I can tell you, today, there's people who don't want to see me by the day. There are people who don't want to answer my phone because of fear of the society we live in. Everybody lives in fear. I live in fear. So it doesn't make sense. Nobody lives in that kind of country. We're Nigerians. We live in fear. You're not free to do anything. What they're doing to your account, you can imagine what they're doing to me. Every day, if you're not asking this question, they're asking that question. Nobody gives you. This is a country where only criminals survive. Nobody, if you're honest, nobody calls you, nobody does anything with you. Otherwise, nobody will be asking you questions. After I freely left, as of the day I left office, the equivalent of $500 million. In other countries that be winning an award, here you are criminalized for leaving it. But those who stole it are actually given the honor. So it's the opposite. So don't worry, I'll ask the question. But there's nothing I can do.
Thank you, His Excellency. You said something that struck a chord. In a country where criminal activities and criminality reigns, where a man leaves so much money for his states, and rather than be celebrated, questions and irrelevant questions have been 2023, fellow Nigerians watching here and online. The narrative must not remain the same. You and I have the power to ensure that that which he said now never happens again, as long as the Lord tallies. Now we will be rounding up people. It has been almost 2 hours engagement with His Excellency, and we thank him for his time. But again, before we let him go, there is an adage in my place that says, let me ask
okay.
Yeah.
I've noticed some people have been complaining that some enough women have not been allowed to ask questions.
Exactly. That's where I was headed to, sir. So
I don't mind. I don't mind even if we have to go for 30 minutes more.
Okay.
Because we have to accommodate them. This government is about youth and women.
Okay, you know what? Wayemi, I hand over to you, and I want you to take women. But before you come over, I will take Blessing, Obi, Allison. Blessing, let's start with the women. Just give 3 women, please, or 4 or 5. I mean, it's your choice. I leave that to you. Make that decision. Blessing, if you're there, go ahead. If not, Wayemi, take over, please. Wayemi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go with Honorable Adora. Honorable Adora, if you're here, please unmute your mic. Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Good. Yes.
Can you hear me? Wait me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I just really wanted to talk about that INEC issue, and the fact is it's unfair, and we are trying our best to get everyone sensitized as quickly as we can. But we know, Your Excellency, you have a wider reach, and I was wondering, is it possible at all to just tweet about it? You know, just so that INEC knows that we have our eyes on what's going on, and that's, you know, we are ready for them. That's it. Thank you so much.
Which one is the next thing, Adora, if I may ask, please? What do you want me to tweet about so I know exactly what I'm doing? Because I'll be acting on your instructions.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm on the spot. Okay, sir. So it's the whole about over 40% of the Southeast and I think about 60% of Bayelsa voters were just, you know, invalidated by INEC. And I mean, it's not adding up. Even River State has the same problem, and a lot of, you know, the southern states. So it's not fair. It's not adding up. How is that? So that's what I was hoping that you can.
I'll make an exception of that by collecting this question and actually trying to make an appointment or send somebody to INEC to actually clarify for us what is happening. So that by the time I come for the next meeting, I should be able. I'll take this, like I said, we must make note of all this and ensure that next time we actually take it up so that people know, again, that we know what is happening.
Wayemi, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm going to take our next speaker in the name of Lady Ijoma. Lady Ijoma, Please, if you're there, unmute your mic. Thank you.
Say, I'm Lady Ijamahara, and then I actually wish to thank you so much for coming for this meeting and all the things you have even done so far, and our efforts that are also being recognized. We appreciate you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, I wanted to actually ask you about the people in diaspora. We have so many members in diaspora, if they will be able to vote electronically, because I assume their votes should count as well.
Well, we're not in this election because all I said is this is the last election they will not vote.
Okay.
They must vote in the future. Of course, if I succeed, you can take it for granted. It's automatic.
Wait, are you there? Take the next person,
Yes, I'm
please.
here. Our next speaker is going to be Priye. Priye, if you're there, please unmute your mic. Okay, Priye, are you there? Please unmute your mic. All right, it seems Priye is having some form of network issues.
Hi. The host just let me unmute. It's been telling me host disabled this, so I've not been able to unmute from the beginning. Sorry about that. Okay, so my question will be, firstly, there's feedback from many people that we would be needing situation rooms in many states. I see that very much the elections are approaching, and we need to kind of explore those options because so many things are happening in many places, and from this meeting you can tell that things are happening and people are not able to either give feedback or don't know where to report their complaints to. There's no maybe official email that we can email any occurrence anywhere in Nigeria. I think we should have either situation rooms or a centralized set of contact information, maybe emails. It's very, very important. And then secondly, we need awareness for ad hoc staff. We need to be represented in every ward, in every local government around the country. Are confused as to how to register as ad hoc. Represent the Labour Party in different wards during the election. And for me, I think we should start making those plans because elections are fast approaching. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think the Labour Party will direct this to the Labour Party, and I assure you appropriate action will be taken. We're all overwhelmed because in a space of a few months, we've come up with this movement that everybody's trying to cope. So but I appreciate your contribution and everything, and I assure you we'll do whatever we can.
Are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please unmute your mic. Thank you.
Thank you. Your Excellency, I'm so excited to be speaking in your presence, but I'll get straight to my point. My issue is with the Nigerian embassy here in the UK, in London. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. I wish that I could complain to the current government, but as we know, they're just not up to standard. Please, if you could factor in how it can be restructured or worked on, I would be so grateful. I have my mom or my brother are traveling to Nigeria.
I've been abroad for several years, and I've been traveling abroad for several years. And I know what Nigerians are going through. This is part of the reformation we're talking about. Our embassies will now be trained and made to defend Nigerians.
Thank God.
They are doing their work. But remember that it has become a case of political appointments and no longer professionally trained to understand what their role is. Part of what we are trying to do, building patriotism and building a new Nigeria, so that embassies will be trained to know that their job including and especially to defend and protect every Nigerian and give them the best services where they will be proud to be Nigerians. We have a country called Nigeria, but we don't have Nigerians. It is my wish to create Nigerians. People will be proud to say we are Nigeria. Any day, I'm a Nigerian, I believe in Nigeria. And that is what we want to do.
So let me help Wayame here. We are Nigerians, and we have Nigeria, but we don't have Nigerians. What a brilliant statement. Now, as we are winding up, let me call upon Neka. Neka, please, if you're there, kindly unmute, take 1 minute. And I know the men folk will be thinking, well, haven't we taken enough women? But, you know, this government that is incoming has a lot to offer, both women, the young, the old, the elderly. So, Neka, please, kindly unmute. Okay. While Neka is trying to do that, Ezinne Onyekwolu, please. Kindly unmute. 1 minute, please.
I didn't raise up my hand.
You did.
Good evening. No, I didn't. I think you're mistaking me for someone else.
Okay, thank you very much then. Neka Okereke, please.
Hi. Okay, so mine is a suggestion because I've seen a lot of people complain about funding and all that has been like a kind of a burden to a lot of support group. So while we are agreeing on how often we are going to meet with His Excellency, so I was thinking if we can also incorporate something like a fundraising. It can be done like every other week, and I however want to run it, and we can raise funds that we can now use to help all these other support groups. So that just was at the top of my head right now. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to take Julian Okeke next. Julian, are you there? If you're there, please unmute your mic.
Well, if Julian is not there, can we take Daniel Adetayo, please? Daniel Adetayo.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the opportunity to speak. Good evening, Your Excellency. All protocols duly observed. My question is regarding combating fake news. What is Labour Party doing about it? Because we're doing a lot online to combat this, but when it comes to combating like all the falsehoods on ground, I would like to know what the party is doing about this. Thank you.
Okay, so that we move speedily. His Excellency.
And there's nothing you can do to stop fake news in the world. It's like you try your best, everybody's doing whatever they can to manage it, but it's not something we can say we're going to contain. Essentially, it has not been contained in the first world and second world. So because of third world where there's no rules, it will be very difficult. We just have to go on doing the right thing, staying on the right lane, speaking the truth,